Do you remember our bet?
Absolutely, I remember our bet.
I don't remember our bet. You're gonna have to remind me.
How do you not? This was
here's look.
4
This
days
is what
ago?
this is. Old man brain.
4 days is
OMB
not that
sufferer.
long.
A sufferer of OMB. Let me tell you something. I already feel like I'm pulling so far ahead. I need to pull back on the reins.
Well, that's concerning.
Yeah. That's the face. That's the face right there.
Now I'm a little scared. I felt pretty confident about 10 seconds ago, and it's all
Oh, I can't wait for this. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Talking Story. My name is John Minton. That right there is my literary wingman and the newest member of Gamblers Anonymous, because he's betting things he probably shouldn't bet, because I think I'm pulling so far ahead. That is the scion to the Talking Story throne, the child of happiness, the best BookTube, the best producer on BookTube.
This is too many titles. This intro is going to be 5 minutes long.
I gotta take a sip of water. I parched myself with that intro.
Gotta edit some of these out. There's too many of these.
It is a lot.
I mean, look,
Child of happiness.
I was not nervous about this bet a few minutes ago, and now I'm really anxious to ask how much stuff you read this month or this week.
Oh, dude, you're not even ready.
Is it just small books? I know we're not getting to
what
you
did
yet,
I tell?
but
I do remember this. I told you that I'm going to count every pamphlet and everything that you could. So I think I get.
You said we don't count pamphlets.
No, we'll count everything that like a book of poetry or something. We would count
a book of poetry.
Like
yeah, you said you can't bring in like a Sports Illustrated
like
while you're sitting in the dentist's office. You can't do
that. Yeah. Okay, we're going to get into it. We are going to get into it.
Okay.
Everybody, welcome. This is the Weekly Reader. This is when we slow down. I got to tell you, I have had a week, man. I have had a week. I feel stressed, and there is no greater known cure for a stressful week than a great Weekly Reader of us hanging out and talking about what stories we got to, how they hit us, what we're getting up to next. We're just going to take a minute. We're going to take a deep breath. It is big. It is big around here. The pre-sale for our first book is starting Saturday.
Yes.
And there's a lot of stuff to do.
Man, I don't know who is or isn't religious, but say a prayer. We got a long to-do list. I think we'll make it. I feel confident, but it's going to be a busy week.
It's going to be a very busy week, and it's kind of stressful. But you know what? There are weeks like that sometimes. Maybe you guys are having a week like that. So slow down, kick your feet up here, hang out with us a little bit, and let's get this Weekly Reader, and let's launch ourselves into the week with the best mindset we can possibly have. So let's start with this bet we got rolling. What did you get read this week, my boy?
Well, if you'll indulge me, I'll be a little dramatic here if you'll let me.
Please.
Completed.
Yes.
Much smaller, but completed.
Oh, nice.
Heart of Darkness, completed.
Oh!
Howling Dark has started.
Oh,
I believe I am on page 2 of the introduction, but it is started.
That's almost unfair.
To go a little behind the curtain, I opened this exactly... What is it? It's 8:48. I will have opened this 3 hours ago is when I picked this up, and I had to stop immediately to heat up dinner. So,
oh my gosh.
But
that is really good.
What a week.
That is really good.
Curse of the Mistwraith. Everybody's known that I've been working on this for a long time trying to get through it.
Tell me how the ending hit you.
It's going to be really difficult to stay away from this series until July.
That's the problem with the TBR, right?
It's going to be hard, man. I mean, I have completely fallen in love with Arathon Cephalin, sorry. But just things went very poorly in the second half of this book. Just one after another.
Yeah,
Nothing went correct or to plan at all. And it didn't end happily.
Now, if you're looking for a happy ending,
you'll be disappointed. I mean, there's a little tiny uptick at the very end, but it was a crater, and then.
But the tragedy
The tragedy.
The
I mean,
drama.
not only just the tragedy, but the machinations.
The unflinching look at the tragedy.
Yes.
Like,
I mean, the moral dilemmas and futures of these people that were involved that are forever changed, all because of greater, almost godhood machinations playing with these characters on the ground, and it permanently affects their psyche and their feelings about justice and compassion, and sets them on a course that nobody necessarily wanted, but we hope it corrects itself. It's just, wow, man, what a feat. I'll have to email. I want to email Janny before this video comes out, so I'll have to send her an email tonight. But this was, I am very strongly feeling this is going to be my top fantasy series of all time. The more I get through it, like her ability to write characters and build a world that is denser than anything I've seen. Not that I've read a ton of fantasy, but her talent is unmatched.
And get ready for this, because I hear this is true. It only gets better as it goes on. Like crazy.
Well, when are you picking up the next one? Ships of Mirior.
Before the end of the month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait to figure that out, of how you like it.
Yeah.
I bet you love it.
Yeah. So how did the Susanna Clark hit? That little quick hit of bliss, of joy.
This is Susanna Clark's The Wood at Midwinter, by the way, which is very fairy tale-ish. It's a woman wandering through the woods with her animals that she has as companions, and she's talking to the wood, and it's talking back to her, and she's kind of thinking about her future and what she wants in life. No one can write like Janny, so it was a little... I think after reading Janny Wirtz for so long, it felt like, oh, this isn't Janny Wirtz, but it's still beautiful. It's
almost like a little prose poem, and it just hit me right here about the interconnectedness of all of us and the world we live on and the people we live with, and
very much simpler prose than Janny Wirtz, I would say, but very poignant.
Which is not always Susanna Clark's bag. Like, if you want to try, I think you're primed now to try Piranesi.
Well, this is I read the ending, kind of the afterword that Susanna Clark put in this, and this is in the same world as Strange and Norrell, I believe, right?
Yeah.
But you still say do Piranesi first.
Yes, I would. Next for you, I would do Piranesi.
Okay. Well, I'll have to add that on my 2026 TBR.
Yeah. So what was after that it was...
After that was Heart of Darkness, which I finished just this afternoon. I was really determined to show you up today, and I'm afraid I didn't do that.
So what did you think of Heart of Darkness?
Well, I've read Heart of Darkness before and really enjoyed it. It was assigned to me in high school, and I think like a lot of kids in high school, you get assigned a book and you're like, I'll read like a quarter of this and then Spark Notes my way through it. And my mom had to pull me aside and be like, you will not Spark Notes this book.
Yeah.
This is maybe my favorite book of all time, and I refuse to let you do that. So she gave me the audiobook that Kenneth Branagh does, which I believe she gave to you as well to listen to while you were at work.
Mm-hmm.
It was 99 cents on Kindle, so I just picked it up because I kind of like to flip back and forth between reading and doing the audio. I just found myself doing the audiobook the whole way through. It was... Kenneth Branagh's performance in it really made it for me. I'll be honest, I really enjoyed it, but the ending to me was a little... okay. I guess that's the end to me. I don't know if you felt the same way. But I mean, obviously the prose is brilliant, and you find yourself kind of going back, not just to like, oh, I feel like I missed details there, I need to go back, which is sometimes you do, but I found myself going back a couple times as well to be like, oh, I just want to read that again. That was a really interesting way to convey that idea.
I had not read it before.
And
And the ending was a surprise to me. It did not. I told Mom, it's like, okay, that didn't wrap up the way I thought it would wrap up.
No, it didn't. It just kind of ends.
Yeah.
No spoilers, obviously, but it felt very, for those that have seen
been
No
around
Country,
for a while.
Sure, but not everybody's read it.
Yeah.
For those that have seen No Country for Old Men, it just kind of, I guess it's a realistic ending, but it's maybe not the dramatic narrative style planned ending that one would expect.
Sure.
But I mean, still a classic in its own right. It deserves to be in that category.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that gets talked about.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I would completely agree with that. So after that, you have read a page and a half of...
Maybe not even a page. I would say half a page. You have to take into
Howling
account,
Dark.
it says introduction in big bold text at the top, and then you got a half a page of text after that. So
Yeah.
And I think the introductions on these Chris Verrocchio books, like half the page is also talking about the star date. So I've maybe read a few sentences of Howling Dark.
So you're not ready to comment yet.
No, I can't say anything.
Yeah. But hey, that's a
Great
huge
cover
week,
art,
man.
I can say that. I got the
come
Broken
on.
Binding edition. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
But no, I can't
wait
say
for you.
anything about it yet.
Yeah.
Great week
I
of
can't
reads
wait.
for me. If I had to put
Great.
stars on it, I'd give, well, maybe not 5 stars for The Wood at Midwinter, but I'd give 5 stars to The Curse of Mistwraith, of course, and I'd give maybe 4.5 stars to Heart of Darkness.
That's a great week, man.
Great week. I loved it. I feel very accomplished and good about myself for actually reading a bunch of pages this week.
You did great, man. You did absolutely. That's a stunning
I
week.
appreciate that.
And
Now,
what I will say, wait, before we go, I will say,
Okay.
Heart of Darkness that we both read, that's because it's the book club with the missus. And not only is it book club with the missus that we do here once a month, where the missus gives me something a little bit off the beaten path. It's the whole March of Darkness month.
yes.
On our Discord. So join our Discord, read Heart of Darkness with us, or just get involved with all the other events we have going on with the Discord to enjoy March of Darkness, which is, it's so much going on, you won't even believe it. So hit us up in Discord. And where else? Blue Sky and Instagram and...
Ooh, you hit the first one I always forget right at the beginning. Blue Sky, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon, if you count that one.
Yeah, be sure. And they're all right down there. Check them out if you're interested for all the information that you would need to hang out with us more. But I mean, Discord is popping, man, with this March of Darkness. There was a big gathering.
Not the only read along happening.
Friday night. Friday night was a big gathering, right?
Yeah. Friday night had a big gathering. Check, they got all kinds of stuff on there. They got Slay and all of our other mods have a whole schedule put up. Check it all out. It's really fun.
Yeah, there is all kinds of stuff happening there. All right. So you ready for this?
No, because I feel really good about myself, and you're about to ruin it.
No, not that much. I did finish Heart of Darkness as well.
Yes.
I did listen to the amazing Sir Kenneth Branagh do the audiobook. And look, this was absolutely stunning for me. I had not done this before. And what an amazing look. I saw so much of Dante Alighieri in this, the Divine Comedy or the Hell's Part anyway, as they go further and further inland on this journey to find to get to Kurtz. It was almost as one circle going further and further and further in. And at the same time, it was such an interesting look at what they called, I'm sure I won't remember the exact term for it, but like the great endeavor or something to bring civilization and commerce to this continent, to impress themselves as what they say civilization onto this continent and change it. And it just made me think about how generations of people going all the way back, you had to tame a world going back. You had to truly force your ideas onto a world and tame it. And there's not that much going on anymore. But as we move through these circles of this continent, going further and further inland, you're just seeing more and more of that and more of the futility of trying to do that, of trying to force what you perceive as civilization and righteousness onto a place and a people. and how that works or doesn't work. And it was the language was just off the chart gorgeous. An examination of this unbelievably overgrown, unspoiled, fertile, crowded with just leaves and growth, as well as much going on there in the landscape that they're traveling through. As much going on there, there's as much internally on this person's journey that's moving through it, that he's having to figure out and come to terms with, and piece together of how he feels as he's telling this story of this job he had, captaining a steamboat up this river, and hearing about Kurtz. And what a great job of blowing up a character before he even gets on stage. The stories you hear and the whisperings you hear as you move further and further up the river and further inland as you're coming to Kurtz's area, his legend just grows at each step. So much done unbelievably right. So much importance. You could absolutely see how this changed things going forward. You know, I saw a lot of things when listening to this. It's like, oh man, I've seen that reflected so many times in storytelling now. And to see some of the influences, like I say, Dante and other things to here, and then from here moving onward in the timeline of story, it was just marvelous to see that and spend time with it. And I generally have a really hard time with audiobooks, but like you said, man, Kenneth Branagh's performance was just special, I thought.
It was different. It was...
Yeah.
It didn't feel like an audiobook. It felt like a movie to me.
It really did. You absolutely saw everything, and you felt the heat, and you felt the... I don't want to go too far into it because, again, we are going to have book club with the missus coming up here. Everyone that's joining us on Discord and sharing notes about this as we go, we're going to have a full episode with the missus and you this time joining us, talking about how we went through. And like we said, this is one of Amy's favorite books of all time. She studied it very, very in depth when she got her MFA in creative writing. So she's going to have all types of things to bring to light that we probably did not see. So I cannot wait for that conversation. So I'm not going to go too far into it, but this was an absolute hit for me.
There is something that you know how sometimes there's just those things that people tell you that you remember always for no reason.
Sure.
One of those things for me is that in high school when I was reading Heart of Darkness, and I was struggling with it in the very beginning because it is kind of dense. Mom told me there is a reason it is dense. You yourself are slashing through the jungle to try and get the information and be rewarded. You're on your own journey through the book that the narrator's taking you on. It's like, oh, wow. And then you can kind of dissect further from there of what is being given to you. Yeah.
What prose can do.
Yeah.
What it can do, just the style of it. What it can do. Not only how it makes you feel, but the translating it from the page through your eye holes into this head movie, how that translation works and how that artist set every word down for a reason. It's like, all those things are just stunning. So remind me of this bet we have. Now, I know if you read more than me, I have to wear a tie for the month wrap up, right? That was it?
That is correct. Yeah.
Well, I don't remember what you have to do if I read more than you.
I have to, oh man, I'm not going to remember the author's name. I'll have to get Werewolf Cop that Sam mailed me to check, but I think their last name was Woolridge. I have to read a book by...
Oh, you have to read some Cornell Woolridge.
Cornell Woolridge, yes. I have to read a book by Cornell Woolridge.
You can't lose, but that would be awesome for you to read some Cornell Woolridge.
I just want the bragging rights.
We're going to see that. We're going to see about that, because after that, I grabbed volume 10
See,
of
this
One
is
Piece.
where it gets unfair. How many One Piece volumes did you pick up this week?
This counts, right?
It counts, but I'm afraid of how many of them you're going to pick up.
Look, I just wanted to get to the end of the story because I had that emotional epiphany. I had that emotional high, that emotional moment at the end of volume 9 as we're working our way through Arlong Park, and we're seeing some backstory of our crew member Nami and what all that is about, and we're seeing this crew come together, and we're seeing this amazing captain come to light of Monkey D. Luffy as he steps up and brings these disparate spirits together as a family. So I just had to finish it, and it didn't quite wrap up in here. The battle against these superior race of fish people. I had to move on to volume 11 to wrap it up.
Oda, what are you doing to me?
So this counts as well. So it did wrap up Arlong Park in an amazing way, and then it moves on. And as it moves on, I'm really getting into this because it's furthering the lore of some of these new characters we're meeting, new places we're going to, new lore we're getting of this is where the past Pirate King was put to death, and you know this kind of lore of how this Age of Pirates started, where it comes from, and these swords, these levels of swords. Are we going to start looking for these levels of swords now? That I'm pretty intrigued about that they start bringing in at the end here. So all kinds of stuff that I can't wait to get further into One Piece. But I did stop there.
Okay, thank God.
Because
I'm happy to hear
I had to move on to our indie read of the month, which is Aaron Ramsby, Ruins of Ivy. And I did wrap that up. I did finish it. And gosh, what to say? I really enjoyed the world and the story so much. This is like a post-apocalyptic world. A plague has swept through, and the plague kind of moves a bit of our genetic material from one person to the other that is suffering from this. So I think that may be one of the reasons why some of these characters seems to be like part wolf, part raccoon. There's like it's like the globe is kind of returning back to the flora and the fauna, and some of these characters that have evolved and are in society with us are not entirely human. And I'm not sure if it's partially because part of the plague that has rolled through and affected everyone and everything, or if it's something deeper. And this brings me to my main thoughts about this, is that I want more. I want these mysteries answered. And not only that, it's almost on every level here that Aaron Ramsby leaves me wanting more. In the prose, in the description, I want more. I don't quite see everything. Everything is in such a breathless tumble forward in this narrative that I would like just to linger a little bit more. I would like to be able to visualize and see a little bit more of these places as opposed to just some of the simple, stark descriptions we have. I would like it to be more expanded upon so I could understand and see a little bit more of what's going on. These characters, I would like a little bit more backstory. As I said, we have a character that is part wolf, part dog, and his father has kind of adopted him. And what a beautiful relationship that could be. But I would love a little bit of a flashback to see how that happened. I would love to see a little bit of that relationship bud and grow so I can understand as they go through this arduous quest and journey, how it affects their relationship and where they've come from. And I can have an emotional response to some of what's happening because I'm emotionally tied to these characters because I understand how they connect and where they came from. And again, I feel like we're just getting just enough to entice me, but I wanted more. I wanted answers to more of the mysteries of this world. So many threads left dangling. The very end, he leaves me, like every other aspect of this book, he leaves us on a cliffhanger that I can't believe he leaves us on. And obviously this is the first book in a series. And I am interested in picking up book 2 because I do want answers. And I do want to see how Aaron grows as an artist. If he starts to trust himself enough, and maybe that's the wrong term. Maybe he absolutely does trust himself, but indulge himself enough to where he can linger for a little bit longer. He can take a little bit more time in these scenes to expand them, allow himself to play a little bit as an artist, and not try to so breathlessly get the story across to me quickly in that tumble-down fashion that I felt that this was, which the pace was spot on. I mean, it moved very well. I was intrigued by the world. I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed the characters. I just wanted more of absolutely all of these things. So I want to see his artist journey if he starts to kind of do a little bit more of that, not only for us as readers, but for him as himself as an artist, because I know this world is probably very important to him. So very, very, very interesting story. Love the post-apocalyptic world. Loved the hybrid characters. Loved the relationships. Loved this journey, this quest that they're chasing after one of their friends that has been taken. And that takes them, vastly to areas they've never been to, like these cities that obviously we know today as sprawling metropolises. They're just completely overgrown after this cataclysmic war, as nature has taken back over. It's right there, but I just would like a little bit more time taken in all of these aspects. And that's what I kind of got out of from Ruins of Ivy. This is Aurora Project Book 1 by Aaron Ramsby. I enjoyed my time there to the point where I would like to have had more.
That does sound like a really cool world. Well done, Aaron.
It's such an intriguing launch point.
Yeah.
That I honestly, I would have done twice that for book 1. If I could have I would have been there for twice that. And I know you always want to leave your audience, don't stay on the stage too long, leave them wanting more. What I'm saying to Aaron Ramsby is that you left stage too early, maybe. You dance a little bit longer, man. Feel the music. I would have totally been there for it. I would have totally stayed for it.
Well done, Aaron. So, as always with indie books, there is a link in the description if you would like to check out Ruins of Ivy by Aaron Ramsby.
Aaron Ramsby.
Please do so.
We will have that link right down there for you. Then, hey, you know what? I have not read comics in a while. I wanted to pick up some comics.
Okay, these don't count. These don't count.
No, you've got to count them.
No. How many comics do you read?
I had a full run of 6. I'll count this as one.
No.
I'll count that as one story.
Okay.
I count that as one story because, look, this is AWA Comics, and J. Michael Straczynski has created an entire superhero universe there called the Resistance Verse. And there was a new story, and I had all 6 issues, so it's like, you know what, I haven't done comics in a while. I would love to do some comics. I love me some J. Michael Straczynski. Huge fan all the way going back to Babylon 5. And this was such a fun superhero foray into this new superhero universe that he's created, because it is a love story. Something you don't see all that often, and it was really, really very effective. In this universe, you get superpowers by surviving a pandemic, and you come out the other side, maybe with powers, maybe not. Maybe it just takes you out. You're not too sure. And sometimes you come out with powers that are you don't want. But this person comes out of it, wakes up with amnesia, not remembering his past, but with some very, very strange healing and strength powers, and because of his amnesia, a very interesting way of seeing the world, and the magic and the majesty and the amazing connection that we all have. And he's looking for this person that he knows is going to show up. He knows it's been ordained, and they're going to show up and allow him to even have deeper connections and understand even more. And this is you and I. And the I is going to show up for you. And when that happens, she's going to show him, hey, you're seeing the world in this way, but let me tell you about what's the deep underbelly and what's really going on and what my life has been like and what this city really holds underneath this veneer that you see in its majesty. And he's going to get involved in some, let's just say there's some neighborhoods he needs to help clean up. And the love grows, and the story grows, and the universe grows, and J. Michael Straczynski did just a great job with this. I really enjoyed this. It was so fun to pick up comics again and have a little comic jolt of comics there. So
I'm shopping for Cornell Woolrich books.
After that, it was time for our Patreon book club selection.
Mm-hmm. Was it a big 1,000-page book?
You know what? It wasn't. And if you want to know a little bit more about our Patreon book club and how all that works, let's take a second here to thank some folks because, gosh, look, all this is possible from their generosity and their hard work on this channel. And we want to thank some folks right now. It'll just take a few minutes and we'll see you on the other side. Just a quick break in the action to thank all of our correspondents, directors, and producers on Patreon. These people keep the lights on. They make decisions for us because we don't know what we're doing. We're not great at making the decisions around here. The decisions all the way from what I'm going to read next, what the book club of the month Patreon pick is going to be, but all the way up to video ideas and what we're going to do here on the channel coming up for you. If you're interested or you want to find out how you can be a part of this, right down there in the description box, click the Patreon link. It's got all the answers for you. And once again, thank you to all of these fine people that are helping us build the channel, our correspondents, directors, and producers. If you're interested, that's all the information down there. It's in the description box as well. So this month, the Patreon book was book 1 of the Gale song trilogy by Shauna Lawless. It is The Children of Gods and Fighting Men, which I'm about 100. By the time I hit the sack, I'll be about 150 pages in or so.
And how is it for you? I know this was one we were predicting you were going to really love because of the
I
Celtic
love
stuff.
This. I freaking love this. Where was my one bucket place that you guys took me for my 50th birthday?
Oh, Ireland. Yeah. More specifically,
Ireland.
The Jameson's distillery was your...
Well, that was absolutely one of my first stops. But the Cliffs of Moher as well, and Glendalough, and all these other amazing places that I had to see. I had to go to the mother country, had to see Ireland. So this historical fantasy in Ireland, dealing with the myths, the myths of the Tuatha De Dananns and the Fomorians, and their long war between each other, and they have left. There's very few of them left, very few of the children of these mythical beings left moving around in Ireland, and they have insinuated themselves because they have such unbelievably long lives. The Fomorians, they have insinuated themselves into the aristocracy and the ruling class and the kings of Ireland. The not only the Irish ones, but as well the Viking ones, the Norse ones. And the children of the Tuatha De Danann, after they have left, kind of are in hiding, and they're kind of trying to do good and watch things from afar. And look, this has everything. It's got long, drawn-out lives of mystical beings, right? Which I love because it reflects humanity because they can live so much longer. Things hit them in a different way, and we can use that as a social mirror for how things hit us. And get an appreciation for that. So it has that. It has historical Ireland. This is on par with the kind of stuff that I've loved from Bernard Cornwell, that type of historical fiction. This is on par with that. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Wow. On top of that, you factor in these amazing female characters, these point of views that we're following for these female characters, one from the Tuatha De Danann, one from the Fomorians, as they move about their machinations that... the scheming, the plans, it's every bit as deep of a political intrigue and machinations as if George R.R. Martin himself wrote it. So it's got all these kind of things that I love in one book. I am absolutely flying through this, and I am loving it so much. On top of that, the prose is just so unbelievably digestible and quick and fast, and it just grabs you. It's like you're watching, look, this is as if you're watching a super fun Highlander flick in Ireland in the year 992 to 996 is kind of where I've started at this point. So what a great feel. What a great launch to a trilogy. I can already tell I'm going to have to grab the next couple books of this. I think there might be a novella or something in between. This is just jet fuel for me. This is absolute just fun off the charts. And we're talking on Discord. I got a lot more people starting it from what I'm letting them know what it's about. So we're going to have some good conversations there. But this Wow. What a great beginning. Loving this so much.
Anything that gets put on the same tier as Bernard Cornwell for you is really high praise.
That's huge, right? One of my favorite trilogies of all time, Warlord Chronicles. So this is giving me that same vibe. It's just transporting me back in time, not only to the actual history of that time and that place, but also the myths and the legends sometimes of that time and that place that can make up a people even more so than the hardcore history, the legends and the myths that they have grown up believing in and stuff. So, I mean, look, I love Irish lore. I've studied it for a long time. Just to see stuff like River Liffey and the Wicklow Mountains and all the kind of stuff that I've studied and looked at, the Tuatha De Danann and the Fomorians, the war they were in, all that kind of stuff, to have it interwoven through the history of the area. It's this is a big bag of candy for me. This is a big bag of candy for me.
If anybody ever, for some reason, wants to specifically write a book that you like, go Gaelic. Put some Irish stuff in there.
Oh, go Gaelic.
Odds are high.
I mean, if this is called the Gaelic Song Trilogy, I mean, there's a huge chance I'm going to love that.
You're going to love it.
Yeah. So that just leaves what's next. Because I will probably finish this by, I'm going to say Wednesday.
You can take longer if you want.
No, I think, this reads really fast. I think I'm going to wrap this up around.
Wait until the 31st. I'd really appreciate that.
No, I think probably right around Wednesday. So what's after that? What's after that?
Some long reads. Let's hear
it. I have been waiting for this, and I've been waiting for this. The final book in the Matthew Corbett series by Robert R. McCammon, Leviathan. I am just going to devour. I would not be surprised if the next time we have a weekly reader, several things happen. Number one, we got a pre-sale going on our website because we pulled it all together and we made it happen. That'll be happening here next week. But also, I think I'll probably pretty much be finished with these two books.
Well, you'll have definitely just finished The Children of Gods and Fighting Men.
I'm pretty sure I will have finished this. And something tells me I have another.
Oh, come on, man.
I have another 6-arc series or something that I can use as a little palate cleanser between the two. So I might even have
the month you decided to pick up comics again.
Because you bet the old man. You never bet the house. You never bet against the house.
This is an issue. Do we have an HR? I have a report to file.
We do not have. We do not, nor will we ever have an HR.
There will never be a need.
No. That is 100% correct. But yeah, so I think these two and another 6 or 8 issue comic arc series will be done by next week. And then I think for the month, that only leaves me with Ships of Merrier.
Oh, I like that. That sounds great.
But if I finish early, I can start just pulling some things.
Nah, take your time. Really digest it.
So how you feeling? How you feeling at this point?
Not great. I'm feeling man, I still got Nice House on the Lake. I could read Identity Crisis again. I'm gonna have
Nice House on the Lake would count. That would count.
That would count. I'll have to pull some tricks out of my sleeve to make it happen. But I do not feel as comfortable as I did 30 minutes ago.
I think the arc I have to read between these two is the new one, which is called Nice House on the Ocean.
You have an arc for Nice House on the Ocean?
I think it's complete. I think I have all the issues.
Oh, I thought like advanced reader copy arc, not arc.
No. I think all the issues are in.
Okay.
I think I could put that in here.
Well, maybe when you're done with it, I'll pick it up and we can be even on that one. We'll just cancel each other out.
Yeah, I'll pass that. I'll pass that on to you. That's going to happen. So, all right. Oh, fun and games. All right, so look. Now we got to get into what we did last week. Let me see if you remember. You've been pretty good at this game for the past couple weeks.
I do remember. We did my TBR, right? Or was
No.
that a week before? That was a week before.
That was a week before.
Oh, no.
This is not going to go well
This is
for
not
you.
gonna
It's
go
the first week of the month. We do the same thing every time, dude.
I forget it every time. We did a book haul.
Dude.
I know that.
Yes.
Did you do everything you read?
Yes.
Look at that.
Look at that. You got it for another week. We wrapped up everything we read in the month of February. I had to have an entire knockdown drag out. We had to bring in a referee. I had to have a knockdown drag out with myself to pick what was the book of the month again, because it was like 4.
Yeah, it was between 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 4.
And you chose Gardens of the Moon as the supreme book, and all the others were horrible. I believe was how that ended out.
No, that's not the way that went, but I did choose Gardens of the Moon.
You did choose Gardens of the Moon.
Yeah. And then we did a big book haul to thank everyone that was so lovely and sent us something in the mail.
That was a nice book.
Letters and yeah, it was. Oh, guys, that's one of our favorites to spend time, and thank you guys with that. And so, what do we got coming up this week?
Ooh, we just talked before we hit recording this.
We actually had a production meeting, and I talked to you.
We kind of did have a production meeting because of the pre-sale. We kind of have to plan around things.
Yeah, we got to plan around stuff because there's a lot going on.
Well, this let's see. Now I'm thinking chronologically. You have a Quilluminati stream on Thursday.
Yes, Thursday.
Yes, that will be happening here for the first time.
Everybody, all the Quilluminati. I'm talking Brian from BellTube, my brother from the north, Dr. Philip Chase, from the Best of Fantasy, and Mike from Mike's Book Reviews are all coming over to hang out for a Quilluminati gathering. The book is Mystic River by Dennis Lehane. I know I absolutely loved it. I know Mike absolutely loved it. I'm pretty sure Brian loved it. I think Dr. Chase is struggling with it.
Oh, is he really? That's surprising.
I think he just wrapped up the backers the backers here. What is it?
R. Scott Bakker?
Yeah, I think he just wrapped up R. Scott Bakker, however you pronounce that. And it left him feeling bereft. It left him feeling bereft of hope and light and soul. And he went from there right into Mystic River. And let me tell you something that Mystic River does not do, and that it does not pull punches to your spleen and kidney and just sense of well-being. The tragedy is intense and unrelenting.
So it may not be that Philip doesn't like the book. It's that it was kind of the wrong time.
I think he loves the artistry of the book, but I think he's having a hard time dealing with the brutality of this blue-collar Massachusetts neighborhood and what's happened there, and the tragedy that we are an audience to in this book. And I cannot wait to talk to them about all of it, and that will be here this Thursday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, live. So join us if you read it. If you didn't read it, just join us and hang out. We're going to be spoiler-free for a good chunk here in the beginning, and then we'll get into spoilers and talk about everything. But when the Quilluminati gets together, I mean, it is always a lot of fun. So join us for that.
BookTube, all of them.
Well, I wouldn't say, we're just lucky to coast.
Well, that's why I said them, all of them.
Yeah.
We don't count.
Oh, I thought you said 4.
No,
I thought you said 4.
True Legends of BookTube. Brian, Philip, and Mike. We don't go in that category. That's them.
And they're right down there.
Yes, absolutely.
Hit their channels up if you have not already. Because if you have not already, you're not doing BookTube the way you should do BookTube. But if you're here, I'm sure you're there as well. Look, and then the other thing we have. Oh, I can't wait for this either. I talked a little bit ago about one of my favorite trilogies on my favorite trilogy list. This is another off of my list. Another of my favorite trilogies is the We Are the Dead trilogy from Mike Shackle.
You forgot the name of it.
No, that's not the name of the trilogy, but I couldn't remember it. So I just went with the name of the first book. But we're going to talk to Mike Shackle. We're going to sit down and have an artist journey with Mike Shackle. We're going to drop that on Friday. So if you're thinking about maybe reading this We Are the Dead and The Fool's Hope and Until the Last, this amazing grimdark trilogy. The Last War trilogy. That's it. Yes. Thank you so much. That's why you're my literary wingman. If you ever thought about reading the Last War trilogy by Mike Shackle, and let me tell you, if you haven't, you absolutely should. That's how close I have it on my shelf, because it makes my favorite trilogy list. It's right over there. If you have ever thought about reading this, tune in Friday. We are going to talk to the man himself. Well, I'm going to try and keep this vague and spoiler-free through the entire interview. We're going to talk about where his ideas come from, how his journey as an artist, where it started and where it ended and what he's working on now, and all the types of things that he explores character and theme-wise through this. But we're not going to get into specifics, so we're going to try and keep it as vague as possible, because I absolutely, all of you that have not tried this series or this trilogy, tune in, listen to the man himself, hear what we say about it, and I promise you, give this a try. This is one of those really, really good ones. If you give this one a shot, I think you're really going to enjoy it. So I cannot wait to speak with this man. So we are going to talk to Mike Shackle, and that will be dropping on Friday.
Lovely. Didn't Mike Shackle post something on... How did this come about? Wasn't it kind of interesting how Mike Shackle got in contact with you for this?
Mike Shackle reached out because I think he saw our favorite trilogy, and he saw that his trilogy was on there. So he just reached out and said, "If you ever want to talk," it's like, "Oh my God, yes, absolutely." So yeah, super guy. I've seen him interviewed a couple times. Seems to be an amazing, wonderful man, super talented writer, and I cannot wait to spend some time with him. And we will have that full interview for you. Again, spoiler-free on Friday. So absolutely join us if you want to hear about one of the finer, funner, grim, dark trilogies that I've read in a long, long, long time. It does make my favorites list of all time. And then there's still more.
There's more?
There's still more.
What more could there be?
I'm going to have to reach to a shelf over here.
You're just pulling too many things off the shelf.
Dude, listen to this. On Saturday, I'm going to be over on Dr. Philip Chase's channel, The Best of Fantasy, because we're going to get the group back together that has been reading through Ryan Cahill's series.
Oh, it's time. You're right.
It is time. It is time. Me and Christopher Navo and Mike from Mike's Book Review and Dr. Philip Chase, we're all going to get together, and we're finally going to talk about Of War and Ruin by Ryan Cahill and The Ice by Ryan Cahill. We're going to wrap up everything in this amazing Bound and the Broken series that we've been reading together. And if that's not enough, who will be there with us? None other than Mr. Ryan Cahill, hanging out with us, talking about his series, talking about Of Empires and Dust, which is coming out at the end of this month. Of where this amazing series is going to go to next. So I know we're going to have a lot to talk about. I know we're going to have a lot of questions for Mr. Cahill. I can't believe he's so kind to join us. And that is going to be taking place. And I've had so many people in comments hitting me up. When are you guys going to get back together and talk about the last book of the Bound and the Broken? And we have finally got it all set up. It will be on Dr. Philip Chase's The Best of Fantasy channel this Saturday at 6:30 Eastern Time. All of us that have been on this journey and Mr. Ryan Cahill hanging out, talking together about The Bound and the Broken, and more specifically, the final two books that are out, Of War and Ruin and The Ice. So this week is huge.
What a big week. And then pre-sale.
And then Saturday, our little family project, if you want to get a signed copy, the pre-sale will hit on Saturday on our website, which is, we'll throw the website up there.
Yes. The website's in the description of every video that we post. That's jajminton.com.
It's right down there.
You can check it out there, sign up for notifications, look, all kinds of stuff. But it will be going on sale for pre-sale there on the 15th.
Yeah, so jajminton.com. If you want a signed copy, signed by all three of us that wrote the book together.
Yes.
And, you know, all the logistics and ins and outs, if to get a signed copy might take longer than to just grab one off of Amazon. But if you do want a signed copy, they will be available through our website. And that's not all. We've been kind of putting something together, and it is pretty.
I saw a mock-up of it today. It looks really cool.
Yeah, yeah. If you would maybe, as well as a signed copy, want like, a super slick, unbelievable wooden bookmark to commemorate the drop of our first book, that's going to be available as well on the site when that pre-sale hits. So check all of that out. Check out jjmitten.com. And
I believe that's it.
Get a signed copy if you want. If you want to get it fast, it'll be there on Amazon for you on release day.
As with any other release, probably the fastest way to get it, if you just want to read it as soon as possible, just get it on ebook.
Grab an ebook
on production.
Grab an ebook on release date. Yeah. So, but if you want a signed copy, we will have that for you. So man, that's a lot. That's a huge week. That is a big week.
That is a big week. You read a lot of books this week, man. I
ain't stopping, man. I'm winning this bet.
That's a problem. Because I do not have ruined my TBR for another book.
Look, Cornell Woolrich is short. They're not long.
How short are we talking?
They're short, and your father won't have to wear a tie.
I don't care about that.
I care about that.
We'll get a tie on you someday. We'll make it happen.
No, it's not going to happen. So have you watched anything good this week?
You know what? I have, actually. Well,
hit me up.
I watched some things good this week, but I'm going to start with the thing I didn't like that I watched. Amanda and I think I know what you're going to say. Oh, do you?
No,
Amanda and I have been going through a lot of the rom-coms that we've never seen before, and we checked out Notting Hill this week.
Oh, you didn't like Notting Hill?
I did not like Notting Hill. Those are some characters that just do not make sense to me as people.
Well, I could see that.
I mean, Hugh Grant is lovely. Julia Roberts, lovely. Their performances themselves are great.
Yeah.
Rhys Ifans, always entertaining. But
always.
The motivations of these characters and the way that they acted just didn't feel like real people to me, personally.
But Hugh Grant, very blinky, very charming.
Very charming, yeah.
Very charming, very blinky.
It was my pick, and the whole reason I picked it was because of Hugh Grant. So
he is a charming man.
Very charming man. I mean, that was part of the thing I didn't understand, was that they keep alluding to him like, oh, he's never been in love before. It's like, there is no way that nobody has fell in love with this handsome man.
Well, someone could have fallen in love with him, as that doesn't mean it goes both ways.
There's no way. This is a man that runs his own bookstore in, I believe, his 30s.
Yeah.
And he must be the most handsome man in a 50-mile radius. That is a good-looking man. He's never been in love. I don't buy it. There's no way.
Well.
Anyway, I watched Notting Hill.
And? Anything else, or that was it for the week?
No, I watched other things. The movie that was given the Oscar for Best Animated Feature, Flow, was on Max. So we looked at that. That was amazing. I don't know if everybody's checking this movie out or if I'm late to it or whatever, but if you haven't seen it, go check it out. There's no dialogue in it. It's animated in Blender in their own, or not their own, but in a different style than most other animations in Blender are used. So it's much more cartoony. If you're familiar with the Breath of the Wild Zelda games, the kind of degrees of shading that you can notice happening, it looks very similar to that. It's gorgeous, and just a lot about nature coming together and helping each other and finding their own ways out of a disaster. It centers around a cat that is there for this biblical level flood that just completely takes over this land, and the different animals in the ecosystem come together to find their own way to survive. It's really beautiful. I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't already.
That does sound great.
It was great, yeah. But I'm not caught up on Severance, so.
See, that's what I thought you were going to say. Mom didn't grab the mom.
This week was maybe the worst episode of the series.
I hear this week was a big misstep. I watched Mike. Mike said,
Mike was not happy about it either. I think he said his wife was maybe out of the whole series by now.
Maybe out of the whole series. So you know what? It's I haven't caught up. I haven't caught up on Severance yet. I haven't caught up on Mythic yet, but I did catch up on Reacher because that's a very large man, and I don't want to disappoint him. I don't want to disappoint Reacher, so I watch Reacher. I make sure because he's a very large individual, and he does use his largeness to hurt the most horrible people that should be hurt with largeness.
And it's very entertaining.
And yeah, it is entertaining. It really is. I enjoy it. And then after that, I'm just going to say, man, I have fallen down a Landman rabbit hole. I could quite possibly I'll be done with the whole season like tonight or tomorrow.
So I have a question then, okay, no, now I have a new question because what you've just said hit me. Didn't you not like this show last week when I asked you about it?
I said it was a little bit. It was a little overly dramatic. It's a little bit soapy. It's a little bit, and it's all those things, and I can't stop watching it. Look. This is Billy Bob Thornton's return to the Permian Basin. I've been waiting for it since Friday Night Lights. It's finally here. He is so freaking good. I can't look away. Is it believable? No. We grew up in Texas. I grew up near that business. This is not. But still, I cannot stop. It's got moments of just glistening truth. Of how that industry operates and the people within it operate that I truly enjoy. But the performance, oh my gosh, of Billy Bob Thornton is just, I'm just really, really enjoying it. Really makes me think about some of the characters in my own family that I grew up around. And it's just, it's soapy, over the top goodness. I can't look away.
Why are you still watching this show?
I've got 2 episodes left. I'll be done by tomorrow, I bet.
Is it a mini series or are there multiple seasons?
Oh, there'll be multiple seasons.
Oh, they just haven't come out yet. So you will be completely caught up in a couple episodes.
I will be completely caught up.
Okay, and then you'll just have to wait till the day. Well, now I have to get to my other question because I am shocked you have not got Disney Plus back to watch Daredevil.
I'm watching Landman. I have not started Daredevil.
You picked Landman over Daredevil?
I didn't pick
you were
it.
Such a
big
Daredevil fan. How could you let this happen?
I'm disappointed myself.
This is unacceptable behavior for me.
It just happened that way. I tried an episode and it's like, and this was before Daredevil was out. And then it's like, I tell you, I got sucked in. I just got sucked in. But after, I will get Disney Plus back. I will watch Daredevil. But I've heard mixed things.
I know why there's been mixed things. There is a thing that happens in episode 1. I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. That is not expected.
I don't say anything.
No, of course not. But I've seen many clips from the first episode, and I'm gonna have to call a family member that has Disney Plus and get their sign in. It looks awesome.
Well, soon I will have a sign in. So.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll just... If you got to finish Landman so I can get your sign in.
By tomorrow. Back up, man.
Hurry up. Finish it tonight. Forget reading. Finish Landman.
No, I got to get further into this because I got to win this bet.
You don't have to do
I have to... Oh, this bet is mine.
Watch all of the Landman. You watch it again, actually. You may have missed some things.
I should study it.
Put a thesis together about what this show does.
No, you better watch it. You're not going to sway me. I'm winning this bet.
I hope not. But I believe that's everything we've watched.
I think that's everything we've watched, read, done. Everybody, thanks so much for joining us, hanging out with us a little bit. It's been a pretty hectic week for us. It's not going to stop until this goes live, probably. Maybe not after that, but check out jajmitten.com if you're interested in that. We're going to be working nonstop to make sure everything is perfect and ready for all of you guys that are interested in checking out our first book. And what did you get up to this week? I hope your week was just wonderful, filled with friends and fun and family and stress-free times and 5-star reads. And tell us all in comments how it was, because that's the whole reason we started this channel, was to talk to people that love books that love the kind of books that we love and hang out with them and get to know them and bring them into our lives and see how the stories are hitting them so we can compare and contrast and grow our own understanding of story by how other people understand stories. And you do that for us every week in the comments, and that's why it's so important. We answer them as quickly as we possibly can, as fast as we can, because comments are the whole reason we're here. And while you're down there, that little thumbs up button, hey, hit that for us. It sounds kind of weird, but it does drive the car here. It helps us get out there further in this YouTube neighborhood and meet new people and bring their ideas and their takes on stories and their recommendations for new stories we haven't read. And that makes us all richer here. So help us with that. And if this is maybe your first time or one or two times and you haven't hit that subscription button, oh man, let me tell you, this group, this amazing amalgamation of story lovers and people that get together and hang out a couple times a week and hang out all week long on Discord and these other places that we're at, it is the best, most amazing, wonderful group of people that we've ever had the good fortune of meeting. And if you hit that subscription button and come along with us on this reading journey and join us, what an amazing, fulfilling thing that is. And when you hit that button and you find that group and you join that group, it is going to give you a little bit of a tingle. That's just a scientific fact. So I think that is it for us, unless you got something at the 0 hour to throw out here, like you read another 3 books and you're feeling good.
Man, I wish I would be feeling good, but no, that's not true.
No, it's not going to happen.
We are fully set to put this hour-long weekly reader to bed. That is everything from me.
That's just, it's silly.
What do you mean? Oh,
That's
that it was that
time.
long?
Yeah.
No, what's even sillier is that people would actually listen to that.
You know what's even sillier is the amount of comments that I said, no one's watching still after all that. And the amount of comments we got of amazing people saying, we're still here. We're still watching. Unbelievable.
And they must be here now. I will have to pull up like the retention graphs and see what percentage of people actually make it that long.
I don't, you know what? It doesn't even matter. Just the lovely people that hit me up in comments and let me those. That's all that matters
Absolutely.
to me. Numbers, I could care less. You know, I ain't looking at the numbers.
No.
Don't try and make me look at the numbers. That's not going to happen.
You can barely work your phone.
Isn't that the truth?
It's a miracle that we're talking over the internet right now.
You know what? If you didn't give me a checklist of exactly what buttons to push in what order.
That is true.
Yeah, technology kind of moved past me and beyond me as soon as we got past the flush toilet.
Yeah, well, that was quite long ago, so...
That's not... I was one of those guys that, my VCR didn't blink 12 at me. I was pretty good up until then.
That's not pretty good. That's
pretty good.
The bare minimum.
I'm going with pretty good. Hey, if you're still here, oh my gosh, you're book people, and in my book, that makes you the best people. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is John Minton, and that is
Hadrian Marlowe. Howling Dark. Making it happen.
the half mortal.
The half
The
mortal.
half mortal.
I'm not nearly as cool,
I'm gonna get-
but the book.
I'm going to give it to you.
Thank you. I appreciate.
I'm going to
that.
give it to you. Absolutely. Thanks for joining us here on Talking Story.